program and contracting. The state of New York has hired an individual firm to administer this. And what they're doing, they're streamlining it and just changing the administrative procedures. And one of them will be is that we don't have to voucher an invoice for reimbursement or reimbursement for the rides and ridership and whatnot that we've provided. The intent is we would get the same amount of money, but it's going to be streamlined and it's just less paperwork. But the contract really remains the same as it's been all along. So, with that explanation, would someone like to make a motion that we authorize the supervisor to sign the annual renewal of the dial bus contract with the County of Orange?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. This next one is a cost savings idea. The Water and Sewer Department, they use contractors to supplement our Department of Public Works when it comes to pulling pumps, flushing lines, digging holes, etc. And we've been using basically one or two corporations to provide these services for us: excavating, electrical, mechanical, etc. And so they thought, our people thought it'd be good if we came up with some specifications so that we could go out for bids, and we could see for an electrician, for an excavator, so much this, so much that. And so our engineering consultant put together a series of specifications, and we went out for bids, and we've got the bids back. And Dennis has been, our attorney for the town, has been working with the engineering group to put it all together and to come up with a resolution that would, in fact, first thing it's going to do is going to give our engineer the ability to say we accept the bids as they were given to us. But anyway, what I'd like, Dennis, you go through this if you would, please.
Yes. Yeah, as indicated, these bid proposals were solicited from the business community, were received by Riddick Associates, reviewed for their propriety, and were deemed all acceptable based upon format and information submitted. And they, in turn, per Sean Hoffman, submitted a recommended priority list. And by priority list, I think as discussed with the board, we are going to have a list of approved vendors, let's call it, which will be accessed on an availability basis. And if for whatever reason the first individual or entity on the list is not available, you would move to the second one. And that list has been compiled by Riddick and has been submitted to us. And as indicated in the motion, it covers per diem labor, excavation services, plumbing and mechanical services, sanitary sewer and jet vacuum services. What has been removed is electrical. Because if you remember, the IBEW made an objection to the format about the issue of the apprentice and the county law, etc. And although I'm convinced that legally you're protected and you can go forward with it, I think discretion being the better part of valor, even to avoid foils and unfortunate needless correspondence and red tape, I suggested to Riddick that they re-solicit bids, address the apprentice issue so as to address the IBEW and the union prevailing wage, if you will, objections, so that we would avoid that unnecessary expense and or complaint.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion that we respond to these bids in the affirmative?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have one question. Dennis, you said we removed electrical, but there's some electrical contents. That has nothing to do with the addendum, the resolution.
Correct.
It's just that this is what was submitted.
That's exactly right.
Thank you.
And that, for your own purposes, if you keep accurate, complete records, that should be excerpted from the attachment and should never be part of the resolution, which it is not, but just for your own records.
No, I just don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It's there for informational purposes only.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Bluefield.
Aye.
Councilman Capella.
Aye.
Councilman Lyons.
Aye.
Councilman Cantorino.
Aye.
Councilman Newbold.
Aye.
Can I have a second on that motion? I know Mr. Newbold.
Sure.
Thank you.
Now, the motion carries, thank you very much. I do have a question. Do we need another motion to authorize the supervisor to go out for competitive bids for the electric?
You do.
Would someone like to make a motion then that authorizing the supervisor to work with Riddick Associates to go out for competitive bids for the electrical services for the water and sewer department?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the next one is, we're going to scratch it. It's Time Warner Cable franchise renewal. We talked about it Monday. The Time Warner was supposed to get back to us or their attorney. There are a couple little minute things. They did not get back to us, so we'll just bypass that and pick it up at our next work session.
I apologize, just for the clarification about the official records of the town clerk's office. You've got to extra remove, if you will, that electrical attachment, right?
Yeah,
As
we
Mr.
put
Capello
it
pointed
together
out.
and Priscilla thought you wanted it all.
Oh, I did, for informational purposes, so that the board would be aware of what we were going to redo based upon the apprentice objection. But for purposes of your records going forward, make sure you pull that out, otherwise 5 years from now, we'll be mass confusion as to why that's there.
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is the resolution to return of a maintenance bond on the Tobias subdivision. Dennis, could you lead us through this one?
Yes, the Tobias subdivision was a subdivision, a minor subdivision, which was completed by the Tobias family applicant. Previously, February 11, 2008, I believe it was, we had previously reduced the performance bond from a level of $19,000 down to $14,400. Presently, they have requested a release of those monies, and the building department confirmed, confirmed, I assume, with the, or I believe with the engineers and/or highway department that the road was completed, if you will, and they recommend that at this time the performance bond can be released. However, the maintenance bond will be retained. That's a sum of $8,000, which covers the planting of trees, which were just completed. And I think they, because they hold that bond, the building department, they're going to make a reduction in that also based upon survivability, if you will. But they're going to be retaining a good portion of that for the balance, certainly the cycle, seasonal. I would assume it'd be a year to make sure those trees live.
There is some question as to who is holding that money this afternoon. Where is that money?
I believe,
14,000.
right.
The 14 is going to be released.
14 is the clerk's office, the 8 is upstairs.
Department, yeah.
Building department. Yeah, in talking to them, apparently it was an outgrowth of the planning process in the subdivision, because they had made landscaping requirements, and rather than get into the performance aspect, they retained it. So it's their records, their responsibility.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion regarding this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just you mentioned, Dennis, did Steve or the engineer actually go out there and check this? I mean, it's routine, but I haven't seen any report.
Yeah, correct. I had no report. I spoke at length with
Neil went out.
Yeah,
Neil went out. It's only for trees, and so Neil went out and checked the trees are there, they're alive and well.
Right.
But he wants to keep the 8,000 in case one
I
of
just want to make sure that
Yeah, somebody official done. Same question.
what happened.
Because I'll be honest with you, I can't even tell you where this is physically. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Bluefield.
Aye.
Councilman Capella.
Aye.
Councilman Lyons.
Aye.
Councilman Cantorino.
Aye.
Councilman Woodson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very
Can
much.
I have to move it in a second on that?
I know that.
Okay.
Come on, George.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next one is, we had authorized the superintendent of highways to hire 2 seasonal employees back a couple of weeks ago. He has now found 2 employees who would like to work for us. The first one is Ken Cardini. He'd worked for us before as a seasonal employee. And then Ryan Kingsley. They have both had their pre-employment physical exams and their drug testing. And the highway superintendent would like to hire them effective May 10th at $14.75 an hour. Would someone like to make a motion in that regard?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the wrong place, after done, please, check, you know, filter the, please get these applications, please background check.
I haven't seen the application. I don't think the process has started as far as I'm